First question arises in my mind, what is page object model? Answer should be page object model improves maintainability, reusability, scalability and separation of concern. UI locators are centralized, making maintenance easier when the application changes. Test case remain focused on business validation while page classes encapsulate UI interactions. This significantly reduces duplicate code and simplifies long-term maintenance in enterprise automation framework. Using that table, we can understand the concept of with POM and without POM. In this video, we will create our first page object class called LoginPage. The purpose of a page object is to keep all page related elements and actions in one place instead of writing login code in every test. We will create reusable methods that make our framework cleaner, easier to maintain and scalable. First, I am importing page and locator from Playwright. What is page? Page represents the browser tab where all user interactions happen. Every action like opening a website, clicking a button or entering text is performed through the page object. Without page, Playwright doesn't know which browser tab to interact with. What is locator? Locator represents a web element on the page such as text box, button, checkbox or drop-down. This points to the username text box. Now, what is the difference between page and locator? Page represents the browser tab or web page while locator represents a specific element on that page. The page object is used for navigation and browser level actions, whereas locator is used to interact with individual UI elements. Now I am creating a class called LoginPage. In the page object model, each web page gets its own class. All locators and actions related to that page stay inside the class. Without POM, with POM, now we have questions in my mind. Why do we create one class per page? Each page has different elements and business actions. Separating them into a dedicated classes follows the single responsibility principle, improves code organization and reduce duplication. Here I am declaring three locators variable. These represent the username textbox, password textbox and login button. I use the read only keyword because these locators should never change after the page object is created. Now, why not create them inside every method? This is the bad example. Every method would recreate the locators, and this is the good example. Now they created once and reused everywhere. Now the question arises, why are locators declared at the class level? Answer would be locators are reusable page elements. Declaring them as class properties avoid duplication, improves readability and centralized locator maintenance. If the UI changes, we update the locator in one place instead of multiple test methods. The constructor runs automatically whenever an object of this class is created. Here I am receiving the Playwright page object and storing it in a private variable. Now question is arise, why private? So answer would be because no other class should directly access it. Only LoginPage should use it. This is object oriented programming concept. And why use constructor injection? Constructor injection allows the page object to be supplied from outside the class. This promotes loose coupling, improved testability and aligns with dependency injection principle. Now I am assigning the actual locator to the variable. Whenever text username is used later, Playwright already knows which element it represents. So now question is arise, why use dataset? Because it is stable, reliable, independent of UI design. This is the bad practice and this is the good practice. And now question arise, which locator strategy do you prefer? So my answer would be, I always prefer stable attributes such as data test ID, or accessibility locators like get by role. CSN and XPath are fallback options when dedicated test attributes are unavailable. Now I am creating a business method called login. Instead of writing 3 playwright commands in every test, the test will simply call this method without POM repeated in every test, with POM only one line. Why create business methods? Business method encapsulate multiple UI actions into a single reusable operation. This reduces code duplication, improves readability, and keeps test case focused on business validation rather than UI implementation. Here I am entering the username into username text box. Here I am entering the password into password text box. Finally, I click the login button to submit the credential. See this diagram and we understand that each page has completely different responsibilities. That's why we create a separate page object for each page. This keeps the framework modular, reusable, and easy to maintain. We have already created the login page object. Once the user logs in successfully, the application redirects to the inventory page. According to the page object model, every application page should have its own page object class. So now we will create an inventory page to manage all elements and actions related to the product page. Now the question arises, why don't we put inventory methods inside login page? Because each page has its own responsibility. Mixing multiple pages into one class violates the single responsibility principle and makes maintenance difficult. The inventory page contains many elements such as products, filters, shopping cart, and menus. However, for this scenario, we only need to verify the product titles. Therefore, I will create only one locator. As an automation engineer, we should avoid creating unnecessary locators. Next question, should we create locators for the whole page? No, we create locators based on business requirements. Unused locators increase maintenance effort and make the page object unnecessarily large. Create business method, verify product page. Rather than placing assertion directly inside the test, I am creating a reusable business method that verify whether the inventory page has loaded successfully. Since we will validate the product's title, I also need to import Playwright's expect assertion library. This assertion verifies that the title displayed on the inventory page is products. If the expected text doesn't match, Playwright will automatically fail the test. Our inventory page object is now complete. Notice that it contains only the locators and business methods related to the inventory page. This separation is one of the biggest advantage of the page object model because it makes the framework easier to maintain as the application. Now let's see how our test becomes much cleaner after implementing the page object model. Earlier, our test contained locators and assertions directly inside the test. Now all those implementation details are moved into page object class. Grows. Instead of writing locators directly inside the test, we are importing a reusable page class. We are using the authenticated user session created in our previous video. Instead of logging in before every test, Playwright loads the saved session. Playwright automatically provides a page object using fixtures. This page object represents the currently opened browser tab. Now the question arises, what is page? Page represents a single browser tab. Every UI interaction like click, fill, hover, keyboard actions, or navigation is performed using the page object. Here we are creating an object of our InventoryPage class. When we create this object, we are passing the current browser page to the InventoryPage. Now the question arises, what is new keyword? New creates an instance of a class and invokes its constructor. It allocates memory and initializes the object. Instead of writing assertions directly inside the test, we are simply called a business method. Test file doesn't know everything is hidden. This is called encapsulation. If you are using TypeScript 5.9 or later, VS Code may show a depreciation warning for module resolution node. This is a TypeScript migration warning for future versions. TypeScript 7. It does not affect Playwright execution. Our project compiles successfully and all tests pass. We will cover the modern node next configuration in a separate advanced video.